Alright, let's get things started. I wish I had something cooler to say when streams begin instead of, let's get this started. Oh wow, my phone's not actually... Oh, there we go, okay. It's not actually the right orientation. I plugged it in, you could probably hear it while the stream was beginning. I plugged it in while the stream was beginning. How are you all doing? I like when the natural light comes in, but as you can see, my camera can't really handle the brightness. So it looks kind of overexposed. How you all doing? I'm going to turn on some music after I figure out how. Is there a way, is there like a jukebox mode in this game? I love you. I really like your room. Thank you, everyone. Is there, I can't remember if there's like a jukebox mode in here. Maybe there isn't. If not, what can we do? Options? Let's see what we've got here. I can't remember what our options are in this game. Oh, music player. Why am I so short? Why is my... What is going on with my... What the heck? Okay. Is my... I think my video setup might be incorrect. Hang on a second. Scene collection. No, this is fine. How strange. I don't know why it's showing me so short, but hopefully it's not an issue. Eating some tacos in your name. Oh, thank you. I'd quite like to have a taco named after me. It's not something that actually crossed my mind. I like that phrase. In the name of so and so. Oh God. Okay, so this is a Japanese game, right? It's actually I think it's the NTSC. I don't know if it's because it's the NTSC version or what. This game has always required you to options press circle in order to actually move forward. Even on a PS5 where you've got cross set as the confirm button. Oh yeah, music player. Now the visual setting is on 4:3, 4, 16:9. I don't really know what that means. Oh, sick. It's an actual jukebox mode. Just realized the game audio is not actually on. I'll rewind so you can actually hear it. If I can remember how. Yes. So cross is confirmed in the PlayStation menu, but not in the in-game menu. I can't think of a soundtrack that ever came out that was better than this. Okay, so let's talk about what we're doing today. I will answer some of these questions here in the chat in a moment, but first, let's just talk about what's going on. Just thought I'd chat and make some coffee, and then if we have some time, might play some Ridge Racer. I was actually thinking of playing some PC games as well, but once I've plugged the monitor into the PlayStation, it's like a faff to change it. So we'll see. I don't know. We could also play some fighting games, but haven't really felt as much of a need to play fighting games lately. But if you guys want to play some fighting games, we can. But first, we'll make some coffee. And let me answer these questions. So, are Sanwa buttons on a Hori fighting stick alpha a good combo? Oh, I see. I thought you were just saying on a Hori fighting stick in general. On the alpha, I don't see any reason why not. With the regular fighting, with the regular Hori RAP arcade sticks, there's a bar in Tokyo called Shot Bar Lucy, and all of them have Sanwa buttons in Hori RAP arcade sticks. They've even got little Sanwa stickers on them. I don't know if it's like a pride point or maybe they've collaborated with Sanwa in some way. But yeah, that's what they do at a bar in Tokyo. So I don't know. A Hori arcade stick with Sanwa buttons seems like something that people like to do. It's the very first mod I ever did. Like, how long ago? It was like 10 years ago when I got my first big arcade stick. I put some Sanwa buttons in it, but these days I don't think I would go out of my way to put Sanwa buttons in anything. I mean, they're not bad, but they're also not like great. There's nothing. I don't like Sanwa buttons for anything apart from the nostalgia. But the buttons themselves, like the switches, they're not very springy. I used to think they were quite springy, but I don't know. It's either they've got not enough tension or just not linear. The tension's not linear. I don't know what it is about the switches and Sanwa buttons. They feel kind of like, I don't know, non-linear, inconsistent. They just feel kind of squishy. I came for the best OST in history. Still debating now. I see which is being played. No, there is no debate. This is the best OST in history. It's pretty common in Mexico. Nice. Tacos. I'm really hungry now. Speaking of which, we're going to make some coffee. Just got the standard stuff I've been buying from the grocery store today. This is... Where's the button for this? This is the Nuts. It's called Nuts Beat. This is the coffee I've been buying at the grocery store lately, and it's just cheaper than buying specialty beans. I mean, when I'm just gonna make, I'm gonna make it in this. If this were the thumbnail, it would just look really suspicious. This is in fact not some sort of suspicious article. It is in fact a coffee maker. I'm going to be making it with this. If you haven't seen it before, it's called the AeroPress. You squish coffee in here at a small amount of pressure and with a paper filter, so it's a bit like an immersion brewer and it's kind of like an espresso, but it's also kind of like a drip coffee all at the same time. For some reason it tastes better than everything else, so I'm going with this. I was enjoying the pre-stream music. Yeah, we should put that back on. That was actually the real best OST. Just joining, but wanted to give my 2 cents as of right now on the best fighting game OST and Guilty Gear Diva. What? Is that a... That's not a complete sentence. As of right now, best fighting game OST and Guilty Gear Diva. So which one is it? What's Diva? What's Guilty Gear Diva? Is that a character? Is there a new character in the game that I didn't know about? Or do you mean, is that what they... No. Dizzy? No. My top OSTs include Xenogears and Valkyrie Profile. I have actually not heard the soundtracks to either of those, but I'm going to write it down, and I'm going to check it out in the car later today. Xenogears and Valkyrie Profile. I mean, I believe you. I've never played a Valkyrie Profile game, have I? Who makes Valkyrie Profile? Is that a Vanillaware game? I can't remember. Oh, and Virtual On. Really? I can't remember the soundtrack to Virtual On. See, this is what I do this is why I stream. I like to collect all the best information and disseminate it. What's up, Vice? My first mod on a stick was replacing some Sanwas with Seimitsu buttons. Interesting. I think I have some... I don't know if I have Seimitsu buttons. I think I have Crown SDB buttons that I've bought, but I haven't actually used in any mods or anything yet. I like DNF Duel, but unfortunately it's dead. Yeah, I haven't heard much about that game. If I remember correctly, it was fun to play though. I'm tired of this song, so let's move on to the next track. Regards from Italy. Please, what is the hello in Italia? Someone tell me. Italia go. That's what they say in Japan. AeroPress, that's right. Ridge Racer 4, best OST in gaming history? Based. There's just nothing that comes close to this music, and in addition, it's not just the OST in this game. It's like the actual gameplay I don't understand why no one has made a fighting game, a racing game that comes anywhere close to Ridge Racer Type 4. Even Ridge Racer, like Namco hasn't made a Ridge Racer game that was really as good as Ridge Racer 4, and I don't know how or why. What would make it sus? Yeah, I know. What would make it sus indeed? Play Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. Yeah, we could do. We've got that in the Capcom Fighting Collection, if you guys remember that. It also had Darkstalkers on it. That was a good game. Haha, name of the song. Sorry for the link in the shower. Oh. That's the name of the song? And Guilty Gear Diva? It's an interesting song title. Oh, Valkyrie Profile was Enix. Square Enix. Oh, so completely different. Yeah, I don't know why I've never thought to play a Valkyrie Profile game. I think maybe I saw some footage of it in Japanese and I thought, okay, this is going to be like archaic Japanese. I'm not going to understand what they're saying. So maybe I didn't. But maybe if I could play it in English, I could try a Valkyrie Profile game. What would you recommend for standard arcade stick buttons and some form of expensive ones? Well, the most standard of standard arcade stick buttons, the ones that you find in all the arcades in Japan, are Sanwa buttons. But what makes an arcade stick button standard is probably just, you know, the cheapness of it, the ease of installation. Like, they snap in. Like, can you imagine opening up arcade cabinets and unscrewing every single one and pulling them out slowly? Like, with a Sanwa button, like, you just push on those tabs, they snap and they break, but it doesn't matter because the button's broken anyway. So for maintenance, like, Sanwas are cheap, cheerful, and they're easy to replace. So I think that's the standard arcade stick button. But for expensive buttons, I mean, the ones that I used to use in all my sticks was Gamer Finger, but like that company is really unclear whether they've continued business or not. Like they still stock shops with that, you know, they still send their stock to retailers, but I remember a lot of people had trouble after I made those videos about Gamer Finger. A lot of people had trouble with ordering directly from the site. I just think maybe they didn't expect the buttons to become so popular after I made those videos, and so I think they just couldn't handle web orders. So I think people were a little disappointed about the customer service after that experience. But I think you can still buy Gamer Finger buttons in Akihabara. But the only thing that's special about the main thing that's special about Gamer Finger buttons was that you could put your own Cherry MX switches into them. But there's a lot of companies that make buttons like that. I think Kwanba makes buttons like that now. You can, I think some Crown buttons can do that now. Nah, Chrono Trigger and Donkey Kong Country would like a word. Haha. Okay, touche. Chrono Trigger, yes. Donkey Kong Country, I mean, I don't really remember the music from Donkey Kong Country. I would have to listen to it again. Agreed. R4 is honestly the peak. V and onwards was good, but not above 4. Yeah, and I don't know why. Don't know why it wasn't ever better than this. Just listen to this music. Have you seen some of the live covers on YouTube? You can see people doing like live performances of this music. It's pretty epic. I just love watching like drummers play this. Sorry, that was really cringe. I won't do that again. In my head, it sounded really cool. Counterpoint. Ridge Racer and the sequel on PSP are easily equal, if not better than Type 4. Okay. Actually, on PlayStation Plus Premium, or whatever it is, I think you can actually play the PSP games on here, right? We could actually check that out. After this. Listen, I will forget to actually make coffee, so what I'm going to do first is, before I make today's coffee, I'm actually going to clean up the coffee gear from before, because I washed it, but then I didn't actually reassemble it. So anyone who wasn't here last week, I just want to show you what it's like to reassemble, to pack everything away. Last week, we made a coffee using this. It's the Wakako Pico Presso. But the parts that actually touch water and coffee, you need to give them a wash, right? Or rinse, at least. So I've got the water goes in this side and it comes out like a shower on this side. So I had to wash all of these parts. But before you put it back in here, because it's very, very compact, you have to like put everything back in like so. So this is the fold-out spoon that we ended up not even... Oh my goodness, what? That's never happened before. I didn't even know it could do that. I didn't even know. I didn't know you could remove that. So there's the handle there. I actually put this in the top portion, so that's not necessary. On the bottom, I'm going to... All over the bottom, I'm going to put this cover, which helps the... If you've got coffee that sprays everywhere, you can have it all come out of a single spout. And then I think it's okay to close it up here, but oh no, that's not true. Then I need to put the shower screen on here, close it up. We're all done here. Open up the top of the unit, put this in. This is the brush that I don't use, and the WD-T tool that I also don't use, but I just like that it can fit in here, so I always put it back. And then I think the tamper goes next? No. Tamper goes after this. So this is the rib thing that prevents it from spilling everywhere. Put that in, and then the tamper on top of that. I can't believe that all of it fits into this tiny package. It's just a phenomenal little device. And then the top cover closes like so. Like, when you consider how big a normal espresso machine is, the fact that everything you need to make an espresso, and a really tasty one as well, is all right in here. That's phenomenal. And anyone who didn't see it last week, it has a fold-out pump, which is how you actually increase the pressure on the coffee. And then you put the cover on top like so. It's quite cute, actually. It looks like a hat when it's upside down. But in fact, the correct orientation is this. So I just wanted to show you, anyone who wanted to know how complicated that is to put away. Yeah, all over the bottom, right? Oh, Final Fantasy VI, that is a soundtrack. Why is it on repeat? How do I change that? Is there a way to like change the mode? I can't find a way. It says repeat on the screen. I can't figure out how to change it, so it just won't. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to regular coffee and make an AeroPress coffee. So, for that reason, I actually have a different scale, just because it's easier to put a large cup on this scale. Let's turn it on. This scale, anyone who's interested to know, who wants to buy like a similar one, this is the company name is I can't focus on it. MHW3 Bomber, which is, it's like themed after some sort of war plane or something. Turn it on. Get the coffee cup here, and I'm gonna put 11 grams in. I actually copy the James Hoffman recipe for this. Does anyone know James Hoffman? Coffee expert. When I was experimenting with like different amounts of coffee for an AeroPress, I ended up just watching his video and thinking, okay, this tastes great, so I'm just gonna go with it. So usually I make little 8-gram coffees, but today I'm gonna make a mug. Let's put 11 grams in. I'm just gonna do it with my hands. I don't know. I like handling the coffee physically with my fingers. I feel like I like to get in touch with the beans, because I've seen documentaries of how coffee is made, and it's crazy how much work goes into this. And then at the store, you end up like, oh yeah, okay, I'll give you $5 and buy a bag of this stuff. But when you actually when you watch the documentaries of the way that coffee is made, it's like people gotta plant the seeds, they gotta have plantations, they gotta check on the temperature, they gotta make sure the berries are all right, and it's like a bean comes out of every coffee berry. Like, I don't know, I think like only one bean actually comes out, and then they've got to wash them and dry them and step on them. It's really weird. There's this one process where like they just get a team of people to like stamp up and down on them with their feet, and it's like, what the heck is going on? So many processes. And then people come from like the West and they're just like, I say the West, like, I don't know, further west. They show up in countries that actually make coffee and they're just like, yeah, I don't know, it's a little bit too stringent. I don't really want these beans. It's just like, wow, the amount of when you think about the amount of effort that goes into just, I put 8 and 1 to 11. When you think about the effort that goes into like making these beans, it's crazy that we are picky about them at all. I feel like we have no rights to be picky about coffee. We should just really drink everything and anything. But at the same time, of course, this is the hobby. It's just like being picky about coffee and being very specific about the different flavors because it's such an art form. Getting the acidity right, getting the sweetness and bitterness just right. It's exciting. I'm not going to say I'm an expert. I just have a renewed respect for coffee after I watched the documentary. It was on, I can't remember what the documentary was called. If anyone remembers, if anyone's seen it, let me know. But the documentary was on, it was on Netflix. No idea what it was called. Just gonna pour it in here. By the way, the setting I'm on, you have to go like from 0 to 5, and then you do another round. So I've actually gone around once, and I'm on the second round, which means that at this setting, we're on about 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I think we're at like 100 clicks. I tried it on 90 clicks or 80 clicks. I can't remember. Wait a minute. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Yeah, so this is 100 clicks. I tried it on 90 clicks and it just felt a little, like the coffee felt a little bit, I don't know, can't remember how it tasted, but it was like, I don't know, a little bit, it was either bitter or sour or something. So I've actually put it back at 100 clicks, which is closer to what you would just do for a regular drip coffee. And then we're going to grind these beans. Namco Sound Team were just knocking it out of the park in the late 90s and early 2000s. They absolutely were. Let's grind! Tekken 4 has some straight bangers as well. Yeah, you know what we could do? Instead of playing games, we could actually just go through various games and just listen to the soundtracks. Tekken 3, Ace Combat 2, and 3, then Ridge Racer 4. Namco definitely cooked in the PS1 era. Man, yeah. Namco Sound Team. R4 Enjoyer, my man. I mean, this game is so much fun. The fact that the soundtrack is also just like the greatest thing of all time. It should just be a bonus, but it ends up being like a reason to get the game. Mystical Ninja starring Goemon from Nintendo 64 for me. I think I remember that. I don't think I played the N64 game actually. No, I think I played Goemon on. It was either Game Boy or SNES. You can still play it on Nintendo Switch Online. I've got one bean that's like jumping around inside this chamber here, but it's not going through the burrs. Come on. Sometimes they're just too big to go in. You can make Ridge Racer's soundtrack different on the PS1 by replacing the game's disc with an audio CD after the game is loaded. No way, really? That's cool. That means the whole game is loaded onto the RAM? It's crazy, isn't it? Is that true? How's the smell? Unfortunately, I have a really terrible sense of smell. A lot of people would argue that maybe I have no sense of taste because I have no sense of smell. I think I have a sense of taste. But I have a really poor sense of smell. So like when people will put roses in front of me or chocolate, they'll be like, "Can you smell that?" I'll be like, "It smells like wood and plastic. I can't smell anything." It's really bizarre. I do have an explanation for it. It doesn't have much of a smell to it. I think that's a little bit disappointing. Remember, this is just cheap store-bought coffee. There's not a lot of light here. This is just cheap store-bought coffee. It's not the cheapest coffee I could find. It's UCC. It's called Nuts Beat. It's like UCC Gold Premium. And I think of all the cheap coffees I've tried at the grocery store, this is the one that I like the most, which is why I keep buying it. The next thing we need to do is we need to prepare the AeroPress. So this is the AeroPress itself. We're gonna have to maybe use a different camera lens. Oh dear. Okay, here we go. Okay. So, this is the AeroPress coffee brewer. Sounds like I love the word brewer. It sounds like it's some sort of complicated piece of technical equipment, but it turns out to just be like a piece of plastic. This is the thing, the screen, which will prevent the water, the filter. It just holds the filter in place. It just prevents it from dropping. The other thing I learned recently by watching a Lance Hedrick video was that these contact points actually change how fast the water can come out. Obviously, in a drip coffee filter, that makes more sense. In this coffee, we're going to be pumping it out of here, so it doesn't make as much difference. But it's the number of holes and the amount of plastic that you actually have here that changes how much a normal drip filter can actually touch and allow water to be guided through these holes. I didn't really think of it like that. I always thought that just if there's a hole, water can fall through it. But it's really the plastic contact areas that kind of like draw the water away from the filter. I find that sort of stuff fascinating. Anyway, to use an AeroPress, you need to get paper filters, and you can buy the official ones, or you can make them yourself. I buy the official ones because I think it's probably the still cheapest way to, seems like, simplest, best balance of ease of use and balance of everything. Anyway, these are the ones I use. They're just called AeroPress micro filters. You just get a bag of them. There's just like a bazillion of them in here. They look a lot like Holy Communion. I'm not gonna make any other comments about it other than, you know, it does look a bit like you go to church and they give you that bread. And I used to always think to myself, man, if only I could find where they make that bread, so I wouldn't have to go to church to eat it, because I used to love the way that it just melts in your mouth. Anyway, random Catholic church chat. Okay, so here's the filter. Put that in the base of here. Sometimes if you don't put it in like really nice and tightly, it will coffee will spill out the edges. You don't want that. You want none of the grains to be able to escape through here. I'm gonna slide this onto the base of the brewer. And then what we're gonna end up with is a really tall device, which is gonna be maybe a little bit difficult to manage. So to move a few things around here. I'm also going to boil the water. 1 second. You may remember last year. You may remember last week I spilled coffee all over I spilled water all over my floor, so I'm going to try and avoid replicating that issue today. This is the coffee brush. I'm going to brush the coffee into here. There's some still stuck to the base of here, so I like to get... It's not really that I'm trying to get all the coffee out. For me, it's just so I don't have to clean the coffee equipment again when I make another coffee later. The thing is, if you drink multiple kinds of coffee, it all gets kind of stuck inside the equipment, and then it ends up kind of affecting the flavor because you've got like multiple different types of beans from various roasting dates and also from various locations around the world. Sorry, I just need to get this out of the way. Okay. Coffee time, let's go. Yes. Corona was actually the originator of the term has-beens. 2018. How many years ago was that? 6 years ago? When we were trying to figure out a name for the chat, and we settled on has-beens. But I don't really use the term as much anymore. I just feel like I ended up feeling a bit like I was forcing myself to use it, when really I think something as simple as beans ended up being easier. And even then, I don't really call the chat beans that often anymore. But I might start doing it again. Man, that was a while back. Yeah, but I remember it like it was yesterday. I have a memory like that. I often remember things that are like mild anecdotal thing, like memories. I remember them like they were actually yesterday. So that's all the coffee into the brewer. Get yourself a cup. So turn the timer on. The weighing scale. Let it zero itself. No, actually, you don't need to because you still have to put the cup on it. You put the cup on, and then the brewer, and then we're going to put the hot water in here. What PLL are we on here? I can't remember what you call this. Is this is an R perm. I think I need to fix that in a moment. Okay, the water is boiled. I'm gonna wait till it's cooled down a little bit. I'm gonna zero this down. AeroPress. I hope you guys are making coffee now. If you're not making a coffee now, make one. Or if you don't drink coffee, make a warm drink. Or a cold drink. No, make a warm drink. Also, my favorite game OST would be Chrono Cross. Now, there is a game I didn't play. I remember hearing rumors about it when it wasn't released in the West. All I'd ever played was Chrono Trigger, and it was just like, did you know in Japan they've got a game that came out after Chrono Trigger? It was called Chrono Cross. I was like, wow. But I think, are the characters different? It's not actually the same. It's not actually a continuation of the story of the characters in Chrono Trigger, is it? Rivals of Ether music. We could do that, but it's on my PC, and I think loading it on screen would be a trick. And if we're only listening to the music, I could do it. That's something to consider. I clicked for the chill vibes, but Ridge Racer rules. I miss it. Yeah, you know what? We've been listening to this music for too long. You know what we need to do? I'm gonna skip ahead to one of my favorite tracks. How about this one? Oh no, I pressed cross. It keeps happening. Music player. Not adjust brightness. What scale and grinder do you have? So Karina, I think maybe right before you came in, I was showing the grinder. I have it on. I'll show you in a sec. Hold on. Put it on. Move it in circles. Okay, so right before you came in, before we put it on the scale, this scale is an MHW3 Bomber. I don't remember if there's a model name to it or anything, but it's like the not tiny one, it's a slightly larger one. I wanted a larger one because when I used my small scale, when I used this small scale in a video, like the drip coffee filter was like shaking because this was unstable. So I ended up getting this larger one specifically so that in videos, also just I use it. I have coffee filters. I have a scale up here. I also have a scale downstairs in the living room. The grinder I use, anyone who's interested, it's called Easy Presso. Like it's pronounced Easy Presso, but it's actually 1Z Presso. The grind setting I used was, I think, 100 clicks. It's on 4, so I've gone a full round and then 1, 2, 3, 4, which I think is 100 clicks, but might be wrong. I'll replace my Hario. If I get a Hario, what I really want to get is I think it's called the V60 Switch. I think you can actually let the coffee do like immersion brewing before you open the switch and let the coffee drip through the filter. That seems really interesting to me. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna grab the hot water now, and I'm gonna try and do this without spilling it. probably still too hot, but I don't have a temperature. Actually, I just can't find it. I can't find my thermometer for this kettle. This is my old kettle, which didn't have a thermometer built in. And if we do it the James Hoffman way, we're going to put 200 mils of water in here. I would prefer to do it with my right hand, though. This is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. I'll do it from here. I kind of bloom the coffee. I don't know if it makes any difference in an AeroPress, but I like to spin it around like I'm blooming a drip coffee. But the truth is, I have no idea. I haven't done any research into whether it makes any difference. And I don't go over the amount for the recipe. I'm pretty strict about that because I don't want the coffee to taste... I don't want more coffee, I just want the taste... I want the coffee to taste as good as freaking possible. So I don't like add extra water so I can have more coffee or anything. And actually, recently, the way I drink coffee, it just lasts forever because I sip it. Okay, and then after this, I'm going to press the T button, set a timer, we'll let it go for about 2.5 minutes. This time I'm actually going to put the kettle over sleep. Last week, put the kettle on the floor and then I kicked it when I was trying to show you some cube stuff. Pour it all over the bottom. Yeah, I need to get it all over those grinds. Make sure every single granule has touched hot water. The piece of the body they give at church is smaller than that coffee filter. Yeah, it's true. But I would love to know what the recipe is for the Holy Communion bread that they do at Catholic churches, because I would have been tempted to continue going to church just so that I could have had the bread. It's nighttime for me, and now I'm craving a coffee. You know, Corona, I've talked about this briefly before, but I'm not super affected by caffeine at night in terms of sleep. Like, I can get to sleep, but I do think that the later I drink a coffee at night, the less quality I'll have, the lower quality of sleep I'll have. So I'll wake up and I'll still feel a bit groggy, even though I slept for the same number of hours. This is very scientific. Oh, coffee is extremely scientific. When you think about it, you're just doing a chemistry experiment. When you make coffee, you get to drink it at the end, and so it's like, it seems... Actually, all cooking, really. We can't think of cooking like it's some kind of arty thing that, you know, isn't exact or scientific. Just like, oh yeah, if you like a piece of drawing, if you like a piece of art, then you like a piece of art. But with coffee, it really is somewhere in between. Actually, even art is somewhere in between. But like with coffee, there's so much scientific stuff going on that we like to just turn a blind eye to sometimes. Like the specific temperature of the coffee does change how it tastes. The size of the grind and the consistency of the grind affects how the coffee flavor, like how predictable of coffee you're going to make. It's interesting. I find it really, really fascinating. Coffee doesn't really affect me, except that one time I had a Starbucks and I got a migraine for 2 days. That seems strange. Even if they made the coffee really badly. I don't know if scientifically there's a reason that coffee would cause you to have a migraine for 2 days, but then again, I'm not a doctor. New to coffee? I started with McDonald's whole bean medium roast. Pour a teaspoon of salt on top of grounds. What are you talking about? Does McDonald's sell the beans to their coffees? I didn't even know you could do that. Pour a teaspoon of salt on top of the grounds to take out the bitterness. It's a great starter bean. I didn't even know that McDonald's was selling beans. That's news to me. Okay, so listen up. I left it in here for 3 minutes. I'm not very specific with the brew time. I'm not convinced that it makes much difference. I'm going to remove it from the timer. And I'm going to give it a... This is what James Hoffman does. Instead of having to like leave it open and then do the upside down method and then stirring it at the end. He just gives it a swirl and leaves it for another 30 seconds. Are you reading anything at the moment? Matt, I'm reading a lot of things at the moment. There's one book I'm reading at the moment, which I don't know if you guys have heard of. Let me see if we can find it. What are the books I'm reading? I'll find my app. I can't remember the name of it. I can't remember the name of the book specifically. Hold on. Actually, no, I have that. Recently added. I haven't added it to my notes yet. I'm reading a book called Dopamine, and I think it might be Dopamine Nation. It's fascinating. Really interesting book. But then I read the usual stuff over and over again. There's a book called The Courage to be Disliked, and then the sequel, The Courage to be Happy. And the titles suck. They sound like terrible books. They sound like absolute cack. Like, don't believe anyone who makes a title of a video like that. But they're actually amazing. They're actually phenomenal, life-changing books. Oh, why did I do that? I keep quitting the music. Music player. Yep, got a migraine. No scientific proof needed. Yeah, but I'm not 100% convinced that it was the coffee. Like, it's hard to know if something just happened at the exact same time. But then you would know. Not as big a fan of that tune. Move Me? This one's good. The music in this game does sound a lot like Persona 4, doesn't it? Yeah, migraines are no joke. Very, very painful stuff. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to finish the brew by squeezing it down. I don't do this at any kind of scientific speed or anything, but I do like to make sure there's a bit of pressure. I want to get as much flavor out of the coffee as possible, so I think by putting a little bit of pressure, it will force a bit more flavor out of the beans. Again, probably makes no difference. Here I am talking about it being scientific and then also at the same time saying it makes a difference. Alright, and there we have our coffee. Time to taste. It's just store-bought grocery store coffee. All this hard work, and we're not even like playing with specialty beans or anything. Give me a moment. I wasn't happy with that first sip. It's too hot. I think it's too hot, and I think it's affected the brew. I can tell that it's the same coffee though. It's the coffee that I like, but it feels like it feels like the color has gone darker. It's like a darker black than usual. Does that make sense? I don't know. Has anyone ever made coffee with water that's too hot? Can you tell me how it affected the flavor? Being a true Brit, I'm a tea person. I've been watching this show with my son called Alpha Blocks. And there's this one, all the letters of the alphabet have a character. And the Alpha Block T character, he's this toff basically, walking around with a cup of tea. He goes, I'm really into it. I'm learning the alphabet. There's a simple recipe for communion bread on All Recipes website. It doesn't quite look the same. I'd like to know where the original. I want the legit stuff. What's up, Perfect Stranger? If you have too much coffee too fast, you'll get a headache. Yes, it could have also been the speed that you drank your Starbucks. Yeah, it was the coffee. Had no migraines for months. None of my triggers were active. Then wham, migraine hits within minutes. Within minutes of drinking the coffee. That makes it even more suspicious because for something that you ingest, it seems unlikely to affect your body within 2 minutes. For something that you inject into your bloodstream, maybe, but coffee, I think it would take way longer than 2 minutes for something that you ingested in terms of like a liquid. But then again, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. The baseline takeaway from this is that migraines suck, and I think we can all agree on that. I might play Sega Bass Fishing on my Nintendo Wii tomorrow. Yeah, get the Wii back out. Bringing the Wii back in 2024. Yes. So, did you guys hear the news? Stadia is back. It's 2024 and they're bringing back Stadia. Did you know that? How many people believe me? I can't believe it. 2024. Stadia coming back in 2024 was not on my bingo card whatsoever. So no, okay, so listen, Google Stadia is not actually coming back. But Xbox, Microsoft is bringing this feature that they were going to release in 2020 called xCloud Gaming. And I think they didn't release it for various technical reasons, but I think the obvious reason that no one is really saying is that Google Stadia released at around the same time and it kind of flopped. xCloud was going to be, if I'm not mistaken, fairly similar. It's a system where you pay for games, and I think you also pay for the subscription to the service, which is basically what Google Stadia was. It's not a subscription service which gives you a bazillion games to play for free because you're paying a subscription. You pay a subscription for access to the system, and then on top of that subscription, you also buy the games individually. And if I'm not mistaken, that's what xCloud is. I don't know how it works exactly, but I think you pay a subscription to have access to xCloud, but then the games you can play in xCloud are only digital games that you have purchased. And by the way, Steam is now like legally required to say that you're not buying games, you're just buying a license to games, because technically you're never really buying a game. But like, whoever thought that they were actually buying, well, I suppose most people thought they were actually buying a game, but I suppose the longer you've been in the tech industry, the more you understand that you don't really own anything. You don't own a book just because you bought it. Like, you own a physical print of the book, but it's not like you can put it on the internet. You can't, like, I don't know, take the text in the book and then remix it. And well, actually, I think technically you probably could, but there are with anything that is made by someone else, usually when you get it, you don't have the rights to do whatever with it, what you want with it. It's just that physically you can. When you have a game on a disc, physically you could give it to someone else. But the license, you don't really have like the rights to transfer your game licenses, as far as I'm aware. So the thing with digital gaming is that it's made it clearer to people that they never owned stuff from the beginning. You can resell it, yes. I suppose if you sell a physical game, like whoever owns the disc has the license to play the game. But it's not really the same as like owning the game. Even when you turn on a disc-based game, you're still really just like exercising your right to use the license to the game. You don't have the rights to like take the content and do with it what you want. But yeah, of course you can resell a game to someone else. So yeah, xCloud is part of Game Pass, but that's a subscription service. You do have to pay for that. So you can stream whatever is available on the Game Pass service. Yeah, but that's a separate feature of Game Pass. xCloud is a subscription. xCloud is a way to play your games that you already own, but you can't do it without Game Pass. So you are paying a subscription for a service, and you are paying for the games individually, which is, if I'm not mistaken, exactly the model that Google Stadia was trying to use. Streaming games have been really hit or miss for me. Sometimes it works beautifully, and sometimes it's actually butt. I'm not a big fan of it. Even on my PS5, I've got a physical wired internet connection on my PS5 in Japan, which has like the fastest internet on Earth, and it'll be like, sorry, connection's not really stable enough to play a PS3 game today. I was like, what is the point of this service? It just never works. You own a disc of a game, but not the data on it. I think that's the best way to describe it, yeah. Only thing is that the companies can't do anything about what you do with the disc. Yeah, yeah. Whether you legally have the rights to do those things is debatable, but physically speaking, there's very little they can do. Like, with billions of people around the world, with games on cartridges and discs, like, even if there were a law saying that you're not allowed to do, like, pass the cartridge to someone else, like, physically, realistically, logistically speaking, there's very little they can do about it. So my nose just gets so itchy on the screen. For xCloud, you pay for the service as a subscription, but you don't need to pay again for individual games if they are already part of Game Pass. Okay, well, that's fair. That's fair. But then, xCloud, that means xCloud is not really bringing anything new to Game Pass. Because you could already do that, right? Game Pass. Oh, I suppose Game Pass streaming is a separate thing. Okay, I see that. I think Game Pass had a certain collection of games that weren't available for streaming, but were on Game Pass. But even then, it's not that big a library of games, is it? Xbox Game Pass. Maybe I'm just too much of a weeb, but I just don't really like the games that are on Game Pass. I'm like, these are not games that I want to play. The only games I want to play, not the only games. Most of the games I tend to want to play are like Japanese games. I don't even know if they're good anymore. It's just what I grew up with. I am feeling a little bit frustrated that I haven't solved this cube. So while we're chatting, if I'm just gonna see if I can remember how to do this permutation. It's just a cool way of saying the moves. It's like this, right? What's after that? Haha, I did it. Okay. I've been trying to memorize all these final algorithms that kind of complete the cube at the end. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. I was going to complain, but it's actually not that bad. It's just, it is hard work. Oh man, phone is suffering. Kind of done with the phone. But I might need it later. Can never tell if it's my connection or my computer. I don't know. I have the premium PS Plus subscription and I use it to download full games from time to time, but I've never used the streaming part. I do the same. I download certain games that can't be streamed because only some of them can. And it's mostly like the PS3 games because you can't. I think the emulation doesn't really work. If you they didn't find a way, or I don't know if they couldn't, but they didn't find a way to have actual games running locally, PS3 games on a PS5, which is ridiculous. It's not that ridiculous, but it's kind of annoying. So for those games, I did try playing them on streaming, and sometimes it just doesn't work. I don't know, maybe the infrastructure is just not there yet. They don't have enough. Maybe they don't have enough cloud PS3s running, or maybe their internet connection was broken, whatever. Yeah, there's no PS3 emulator on PS5, which is ridiculous. I mean, obviously it's because PS3 had a very specific, like, I can't remember the architecture on the PS3 is like, it had 10 processors? It had like 10 CPUs or something. So, we should, instead of just listening to all this Ridge Racer music, we should actually play around. Play a round of R4. Anyone who's not familiar with this game, you do not know what you are missing out on. This game came out in 1999? 97, 98, and 99 were insane years. Like 97, we got Final Fantasy VII. And then 99, we got the Dreamcast. It was like, you can't imagine a more ridiculous time than 1999 for video gaming. I'm just gonna stick with normal for this round. Yeah, the cell processor was kind of confusing. You had these like stories where this guy would be like, "So you're the punk who's supposed to give us a winning season," and it was kind of fun actually reading these stories, and I enjoyed it. We're just gonna go with a standard car. I'm not gonna do any manual transmission or anything. We got you the Assoluto. Oh, before we start, I'm going to save state so I can scum this. Because I want to collect all the cars. And I think to collect all the cars you have to like actually win first place in every single race. It's like kind of not, it's like actually not even worth continuing if you're not going to win first place in every race. Alright. The other thing was, when I first bought this game, it really looks way too narrow, doesn't it? When I first bought this game, I had the Jog-Con controller, which is Namco's. It actually had a jog dial in the middle of the controller. It was insane. It does look really weird as well. The emulated version of this game doesn't look nice. Like I think they've added a bunch of things to the game to like sharpen the textures, but you can see like it all just kind of looks. Can you see like there's a lot of shimmering? There's so many like straight rectangular objects that don't really successfully move. Well, racing and speaking English is one of the harder things to do, huh? Am I gonna go around the outside? Around the outside, around the outside. No, I bumped him from behind. Oh no! Wow, this is terrible. Old emulation. Are the new emulators that do this better? The Jog-Con was an interesting controller. You can say that again. But it was fun. It was just really fun. Because the thing had force feedback. It wasn't just a random jog dial. It was a jog dial with force feedback. So you knew that the controller wanted to like auto-correct itself to the center. When you bumped into the wall, like the whole wheel went flying out of control to match the orientation of the wheels. Namco, what a company. No, out of my way, man. I think there is a way to get through this tunnel without drifting. I can't remember what it was. Let's go from the outside in, shall we? This corner as well, yeah, you can do this without drifting. Can you do this one without drifting? No. Obviously, if you're in a grip car, it is possible. New emulation fixed all of this, luckily. Really? Sick. Yeah, is it called shimmering? I can't remember what it's called, but it looks terrible. It also looks way too narrow. Like, there were no CRTs that actually looked this narrow. Oh, it's on square pixels. Sorry, that's why. I changed the setting by accident. Sorry, I'm in a state right now where my nose is exploding. How does one get into coffee? Ever think of doing a video on it? Yeah, I could make a video on it. Yeah, why not? I've got a series of videos I'm planning on touching on various topics, so actually I'll add that to the list. Yeah. No, add that to the list, because that is something I do like to talk about. I'm starting to appreciate the different flavors and stuff, but I still have no idea about anything. Yeah, I'd like to provide my opinion on ways to get into coffee. Then we have a little chat with this dude. He's like, "First place, whoa, you're an amazing, like, newcomer. Lightning McQueen." Then I'll click on here, save scum. Have I heard of Lunchley? I'd rather not think about Lunchley. But I appreciate the question. In short, the answer is yes, but that's the end. That's I won't say anything else about it. Not interested in that level of drama. Oh, I could have revved my engine a bit more. Would you guys like it to be in stretch mode? I could stretch it to fit the whole screen, but I prefer it in this mode. Just the drifting in this game. There's really nothing more satisfying than this. I always screw up this corner. Oh no! I may have screwed it up actually. It might be difficult to make a comeback now. If that stretches the image, then no. You sure? Yeah, I'm not gonna stretch it. I prefer it in 4x3. This is not exactly 4x3. Like what I showed you before, that's like real 4x3 with the square pixels. But this is what I like. 4x3 with like rectangular pixels, I guess. Wide pixels, because this is actually the shape that it looked like on a CRT in the old days. Like CRTs didn't look like those reference CRT 4x3 square pixel monitors. The question is, what did the developers actually intend? Like when they tested the game, what monitor were they playing on? OG aspect is perfect on an old CRT because of perfect black colors. Okay. Well, I'm really screwing this up. Oh no. It might be difficult to make 2 more places in only 1 lap, but we will try. Alright, I'm gonna focus so I can actually win this for you guys. There's 2nd place. Oh no, I crashed again. Oh, it might not happen. I might have to save scum. That's a really horrible sentence, isn't it? I might have to save scum. What are you saving scum for? Out of my way, man! If you don't hold the drift for long enough, it really just ends. And with an analog stick, it just kind of sucks. Like, this game is fun on an analog stick, but it's way more fun on a Joy-Con. Come on. It's the final stretch. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Watch this. Chicane. Take care of this loser. Whatever you say, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Why did I crash into his back? Oh, no. Okay, we can take him on the straight. We'll take him on the straight. Yes. Come on, let's go. Oh, no. Was it 2nd place? What did I get? What did I get? 2nd. Oh my god. I can't believe this. Oh, hold on. We have to load scum. Yeah, we're not. I'm not happy with that. Okay, this time I'm not going to be reading the chat at the same time. Unless you want to see fat people, so that's a 2.35 to 1. What setting is that on PlayStation? I'm on PlayStation PS Plus. Real Racing Roots 99 in Helter Skelter. Okay, watch this. I'm gonna focus for 2 minutes and then I'm gonna win. 4 minutes rather. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Didn't crash. Get out of the way. Out of the way, Hot Rod. Has anyone seen the Transformers movie? Don't tell me what happens. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to see the Transformers. I think it's called Transformers 1? Or like the first Transformer or something. I can't remember what it's called. I really want to see it. I'm not sure how I feel about the Marvel humor, but I suppose it can't be helped in this day and age. All movies, it's like a necessary evil to have like the jokey Thor, Steve Rogers, Iron Man humor. It's like a virus. Wow, I'm really screwing up this corner. Alright, out of the way. When I set it, I meant stretch it. What? You want me to stretch the screen? You don't understand. When I asked if you want me to stretch the screen, it was a rhetorical question. There was no way in the world I was actually going to stretch the screen to be widescreen. I'm not a psycho. That's funny. I meant stretch it. No way. I'm not stretching the screen. 4x3. Yo, Claudio! Hold on, I'll read that in a moment. When I've not crashed this corner. Oh, goodness me. Oh, this is exactly the same. It's going to be a repeat performance of the previous round. Oh, no. Oh, no, I got ahead of him earlier than previously. So what's making this extra difficult is that I'm scratching my nose in between every corner. Oh, man. Where's the other guy? There he is. We're a little bit faster than before. Oh, no. Alright, we're gonna take him here. No, why did I drift there? That was a mistake. Oh no. Out of the way, Galvatron. Oh no, I crashed. Oh good, he's behind me, How do you see behind you? Can't figure out how to use the rearview mirror. Okay. Whew. Okay, I won. Thanks for helping me find my controller type. Hey, Claudio. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. My nose is so itchy. Oh, you guys have no idea. I don't know what it is. It's maybe dust is coming off my microphone or something. But something happens when I stream. Ew, what? Well, maybe it's just the coffee. Rubber banding saved the day. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know exactly how much rubber banding is actually happening in Ridge Racer Type 4, but whatever it is, it's balanced perfectly to make you think that you just barely won. Unless you want to see fat people, set it to 2.35 to 1. Doing that will make every game Sweet Baby Incorporated and Dove Body Soap approved. What is Sweet Baby Incorporated? I know what Dove Body Soap is. I don't know what Marvel humor means because it existed before that. Yeah, you know what I mean though. Marvel humor existed before the Marvel universe, but it's become this thing where everything is slapstick. Like, I think the easiest way to describe it is old Star Wars movies versus new Star Wars movies. Like, in the new Star Wars universe, it's like, you know, do what we say or we'll destroy your ship. What did you say? Yo mama. Like, what? Like, I can't remember. At the very start of The Last Jedi, there's a yo mama joke. It's like, what? Where did that come from? Do you want to save your current Grand Prix results? Nah, we're fine. I have nothing against humor in movies, and actually, I actually really enjoy the Marvel movies, but I think it's just frustrating that it's ended up sort of creeping its way into like every genre of movie. Everything is like an episode of The Office, basically. The American Office. I suppose the English Office as well. Someone says something, another person says something else, and then they zoom in on the face of the first person, they go, a bit like, you did not just say that. And there is no other humor. Oh dear, I'm just spilling coffee beans. Oops, slow start. Alright, after this round, I'll probably go back to just chatting, so just let me finish this one round. Yeah, nice. You know you're doing well when you can like pass people without drifting. Because actually drifting really slows you down. Out of the way! Alright, we're doing okay so far, and what's easier in this round is that we have 3 laps. 3 laps to go. We have 3 laps to pass all these characters. Characters? Cars. Yeah, alright. Where's 4th place? Come on, where are you? I want to pass you. Are you emulating? No, this is on PS Plus. You can actually just play this game on your PlayStation 5 if you have PS Plus. I also own the disc for the PS1 game. Like, I could actually put it into my PS3 and it would still play. It would actually look so much better if I did. I think I can still use my DualShock 1 controllers for that, or DualShock. Yeah, the DualShock 2. Oh no! Oh, whoo! Turn. 3rd place. This stage is so great. Like seeing the planes going over the bridge. Alright, out of the way, man. Yeah, no drifting required. Oh yeah, we got this in the bag. Where's 1st place? Come on. Drift. Oh no, not long enough. That was not super smooth. No drifting required here. Chicane. There's first place. Alright. And then I'm going to try and drift without bumping into him. Yeah, and I don't think we need to drift on the... Oh, no, I bumped into him. Oh, I literally just said I'm not going to bump into him. Oh, no, I don't actually... Oh, I don't have enough time. Come on. Out of the way. We can't afford to crash. Oh, no, I crashed. Oh! No! Why? Why is it like this? Why is this game like this? Rubbish. God, my nose is just too itchy for this. I can't handle it anymore. Might even have to turn the stream off because my nose has got so itchy. Why is it so itchy? Why is my nose so itchy? Oh, goodness. Have you seen the Victrix Tekken 8 stick? No. Is it any different to previous sticks apart from having a Tekken character on it? He's the one for me. There's no place I'd rather be. Game Freak got hacked. Switch 2 and Pokemon Gen 10 info is all over the internet. Really? I mean, that's terrible. But at the same time, Switch 2 information. It's beautiful. The Victrix stick. Okay. Yeah, we can have a look. In a moment. After I do a little scramble. Something I discovered recently is that people, when they do these double flicks, with the top they use these two fingers. But for the back they actually use their pinky, which makes sense because you've got this extra finger, which you don't really use for other stuff. I'm trying to get used to double flicking with my pinky fingers. Edgy, how's it going? What's the know about? Do we know about the hacking? Hacking, obviously, awful. But Switch 2, very exciting. So do we have, like, clear images of what the Switch 2 looks like now? Is it really boring? Is it basically just the Switch, but with, like, some unnecessary change to the shape of it? Oh, my nose is so itchy. Doing good. Relaxing now. Sick. So I'm going to put... Let's find a screen that actually has some music. We can actually change it to just... How do I reset the game? I actually don't know how to reset it. Oh, I can end GP. Here we go. Switch 2 codename is Ounce. 11, 12, 13, 14. Hot cider sounds good. I can't remember the last time I had cider. Yeah, why was it called the Ounce? Is there any reason? Is it lighter? You know what? I think a really good Switch 2 for me would just be a Switch Lite. If they just made it the same form factor as the Switch Lite, but with a better D-pad, I'd be happy with that. Alright. How are we going to do this? Oops, I screwed that up. It's kind of difficult to do this with the camera in the way. Excuses. nose is so itchy, man. So talk to me. Switch 2. What should I be excited about? Should I be excited about Switch 2? Because I actually kind of made a decision when original Switch came out. I did make some content for Switch, but then I ended up not really making much. I felt like to be a Switch channel, you just had to cover every single thing that came out. And I don't know, when the original Switch came out, the people who were making content for it, I just felt like I didn't really gel with their kind of content. And I was like, I don't know, I feel like maybe Switch content is just not for me. So in the end, I ended up not making a whole lot of Switch content. I covered some games, I suppose, but the way content was covered with Switch, it was just kind of like, it just felt like a lot of work. It's just gonna have to cover everything. I had a kid in one of my classes years ago that had the second fastest time in Korea for his age group with the Rubik's Cube. Damn! Watching him go with something else. Yeah, the way that people do this stuff is absolutely crazy. Oops, I forgot how to do the rest of this. What was the rest of this? It's I was talking while doing this, and then I kind of forgot what I was doing. Where am I in this? Screwed it up. What permutation was it doing? I think this is the other thing with muscle memory that frustrates me, is that when you do something using muscle memory, if you become like conscious halfway through doing something that's muscle memory, your brain just kind of stops. Well, my brain just stops. Let's see if I could just kind of fix it back to the way it was. Well, I'll just do it again. In fact, I'm gonna just not talk while doing this. Man, my nose is so itchy. Can someone tell me how to stream? How do I be a streamer without my nose getting really itchy? The last leak showed the Switch 2 being quite a bit larger than the Switch 1. What? To accommodate a larger screen, but still not Steam Deck inside, I think. Okay. As long as the Switch 2 doesn't sound like it's gonna launch to the moon when I play Shin Megami Tensei 5. I'm good. What? Why does your Switch sound like it's going to launch to the moon? What about that game causes it to make a loud noise? The Switch 2 is just a beefed up Switch 1. That's the reason why Nintendo shut Yuzu down. The emulator can technically play Switch 2 games. No way. I don't think that's probably the only reason though. Switch 2 needs more power. No, it doesn't. I think maybe I just watch too much YouTube, but the truth is with Switch is that they could have actually made Switch 2 worse than the Switch 1, and it would still sell like an amazing amount. Nintendo doesn't rely on graphics or performance or features at all. All they need is the games. Everyone plays on the Nintendo Switch at 720p, and nobody cares. It's been fine. Graphical performance doesn't matter. Even when you're plugged into your TV, half the time you're playing at 800p. And it's like flitting back and forth between 720, 800, and maybe full HD, but not even. People don't care about graphics with Nintendo Switch. As long as it's got a Mario game, a Zelda game, a Mario Party game, a Mario Kart game. What else does a Switch need to be successful? Whatever it is, it's not graphics. Nobody cares about the graphics. You mean 1080p when you said 800p? No. Nintendo Switch is often not running at full 1080p. When you're in docked mode, it is capable of going up to 1080p, but then a lot of the games would actually just be unplayable if they ran at 1080p because they'd have to reduce the graphics, like detail. So a lot of the times, even in docked mode, I think a Nintendo Switch is running at 800p. And that was from day one. We're talking about 7 years ago. Can you believe it's been that long? Yeah, Kirby games as well. A real D-pad. Don't make me laugh. Double Dragon, Switch does not need a real D-pad to succeed. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if a Switch released that had no D-pad. The only reason game consoles have D-pads now, I think, is so that they can profit from selling you retro games. Because a lot of the market for buying a console is the nostalgia. People who have jobs now, who have disposable income, who can afford to buy a console, they just want to play games that they played 25 years ago. And that's when they're going to need the D-pad. So the D-pad's not actually necessary for like the new stuff to be successful, but for the console to make billions and billions of dollars the way, I don't know, Nintendo Switch has. I don't know how much money they've actually made. The D-pad is like the icing on the cake that helps people, those nostalgic people, get into it. Where is Sonic OST? Yeah, we can listen to the Sonic OST. Let's change this track, shall we? Lucid Rhythms. Oh, it's not on repeat anymore. Oh, it's because I press circle. You don't actually have to press circle. It will just go through all the tracks on its own. Nice. The Switch, if I remember correctly, is more powerful than its predecessor. Well, yeah. Obviously, they do bump up the performance so that it's mildly competitive. It also helps for features. But the truth is, if they released a console that actually wasn't as powerful as the previous one, most of the people who buy a Nintendo Switch would never know. They would never know. And they wouldn't care, because all they want is, what is the console that plays the latest Animal Crossing? I'm a freak who uses the D-pad for fighting games. Yeah, we are freaks in here. Let's get freaky with our D-pads. The Switch predecessor was the Wii U. Like, legit, the Wii U... I don't know how powerful Wii U is compared to the Switch, but the Wii U had features that the Switch didn't have. It was running 2 different displays at the same time. And they were both, like, really good. Wii U was an incredible piece of hardware. Functionality-wise, the Switch, like, it has the Joy-Cons, I suppose, but Wii U was actually, like, running 2 consoles at the same time. It was nuts. It was streaming that thing at ultra-low latency wirelessly to a gamepad with full analog stick controls and shoulder buttons and everything. Let's not start about Bayonetta 3. The latest Zelda game is bad, really. I didn't even finish the original one. I finally got my cartridge from Misato. You guys remember her from Let's Play Japan? I used to do videos with them. She left the channel, but then she also took my Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild cartridge with her. I was like, give it back! So I had to like find her on x.com and I had to like DM her and ask her for it back. She didn't do it on purpose. She just happened to borrow it, and then she left the channel, and then I just hadn't had a chance to like meet her and get it back from her. Wii U had my favorite version of Tekken Tag Tournament 2. What's special about the Wii U version? Was Mario in it? World of Tekken OST. What's that? If games were being made for the Switch specifically, then it can do pretty well, but even Nintendo is struggling with lack of performance for the Switch. Yeah, but the console will always sell well. Nintendo consoles... Okay, the Wii U didn't sell well, but if they actually put the games on it, then they sell well. The thing with the Wii U is that they waited too long. They obviously didn't have the plan in place quite right for the Wii U. It took too long for the games to come out. The games that did come out were actually kind of fun, though. You guys saw my channel, right? I showed videos. When the Wii U came out, I had Smash... Well, what was it called back then? Do you guys remember? It was called Super Smash Brothers... It wasn't called Ultimate back then. What was it called? I can't remember what it was called on the Wii U. Yeah, even Nintendo wasn't really taking advantage of all the features on the Wii U. It was incredible. Like, the thing was fun as hell, you guys. When I played, I had parties at my house. We just played, like, Luigi's... I think it was Luigi's Mansion? No, it was called Nintendo World or something. It had a bunch of mini-games on the Wii U. It was so much fun. I don't have anything like that on the Nintendo... Not that I have nothing like it, but it's just... Some of the stuff that was on the Wii U, like, was not replicated on the Switch. I'm not solving, by the way. I'm just mucking about with this cube. It's just a great fidget tool. If you guys have fidget spinners, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn on the fan. My nose is so itchy. Yeah, I'm allergic to coffee. Wouldn't that be a plot twist? Pokken. I tried a bit of Pokken the other day at the... So I was playing Panel de Pon. Where's my Switch, actually? I was playing Panel de Pon at an offline event in Tokyo. And someone had brought Pokken with them. If I could find my Switch, we could actually play some Panel de Pon. I've never played Panel de Pon on stream. I don't know if it would be fun. Had all the characters, Nintendo costumes, and you can use the Wii U pad to customize the costumes. Man, the Wii U. Not saying that it should have succeeded, but there was some great stuff on there. Allergic to chat. I am allergic to chat. No, I'm not allergic to you guys. You guys are the reason we're here. Okay, so... Red is on the wrong side. That's a frustrating thing I'll have to deal with. Blue also not where I want it to be. How can I fix this situation? No, I think I'll just do it like this. Okay, that's the cross. Let's do these. So people say that you should solve into the back first, right? So let's try and do it like that then. What's this one here? Red and green. Oh! Sick! That pair just kind of found its way in there. Blue and red. That was like the least efficient way to get this out of here. And then red, orange and blue. How do I get this? Here we go. Oh no! There we go. Hey man, hitboxes are difficult to get here in South Africa. How do I play keyboard on my PS4 console for Street Fighter 6? What all will I need? Please, if you could help. That's an awesome question. That's the sort of video that I want to make in the future. Instead of just reviewing random stuff all the time, I want to make specific videos that are actually fun and interesting. To get your keyboard into your PS4 console. I've never done it before. Any hints in the chat? So I've got tissue coming out of my nose. Ew, that was gross. Has anyone got an idea of how you would do that? I've never plugged a keyboard into my PlayStation. One thing you can do is you could just rewire your keyboard. You could rewire your keyboard and then add like a Raspberry Pi PCB to it. But even then you'd have the timeout issue, so you'd need an authentication device as well. It can be done cheaply though. With the PS4, Does anyone have any information on accessibility features for a keyboard on a PlayStation? Can you set various buttons on a keyboard to be the buttons of a controller? That might be one way you could do it. People surely do it all the time, right? I'm curious, actually. I'm gonna look it up right now because I want to find out for a video how to use a keyboard as controller on a PS4. Can you control a PS4 with a keyboard? You can use a keyboard and mouse on your PS4, but not every game supports it. To use a keyboard and mouse on PS4, connect to Bluetooth ports, blah 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 blah. What are keyboard controls on a PS4? Wait a minute. Escape is back. F3 options button. Print screen is the share button. Pause and break moves you back to the inserted... What the heck? Yeah, these are not the controls I was hoping for. Yeah, I can't figure out exactly how you would do it. Is there a Brook converter? Really? Let's ask Brook to send me one and then I'll make a video about it. I would love to make a video about this. Brook converter keyboard into PS4. The sniper? Brook's Sniper Precision Mouse and Keyboard Converter for consoles lets you use your favorite PC gaming hardware on PlayStation 4. No way. Click to see more details. Sniper the competition. Okay, let's see if I can open up a browser. Man, I love when people ask good questions. Okay, so this is the Brook website. There's a new app for this. FAQ. What has been updated? I assume that you can choose what button does what. It doesn't actually say much about the features. Features. Sniper. No original controller needed for verification. Okay. So it's got activation bypass, I guess. Hot swiping. Super easy to use. Optimized for popular games. Okay, I'm gonna look into this later. It sounds like that might be the best way to do it. I need it specifically for SF6. It works with Call of Duty automatically. Great. Yeah, you can use a keyboard by default on a PlayStation for things like Final Fantasy, if you're just using it for like chat. Cronus adapters. Those are considered cheating devices and were blocked by firmware. I don't know what a Cronus is. I think the real question is, why are you playing on a PlayStation, actually? Isn't that quite an expensive way to play Street Fighter 6? Wouldn't you be better off just running at a lower resolution on a PC where you can already use a keyboard? I mean, the game is cross-platform. So maybe you're better off just playing Street Fighter 6 on a PC. What are we doing here? What is this? Oh, sick! I finally got the perm that I really wanted. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Yes! The J perms are fun. I've been practicing that from maybe 2 days ago. A hitbox with Pico costs $50 on AliExpress. Yeah, actually, you might be better off just buying a cheap controller on Amazon or AliExpress. It might be a lot cheaper than trying to buy an adapter. I never wanted to play console games on keyboard. There are reasons why it might be worth it. A lot of the familiarity of a keyboard could help you just get into a fighting game because people forget. Like if you've been playing fighting games for a long time, you forget that it's kind of stressful getting into fighting games. Like the first few weeks learning how to do things like fireballs and movement, depending on your gaming ability, that could take you quite a while. Another question. What is the cheapest leverless hitbox that works fine for PS4 and Super 6? Now I don't answer questions like that. Because you should just watch the videos. I would say though, to just answer the question simply, the cheapest leverless controller that I know of is probably the Coke 42 stuff. They go for like $49 and $55 each respectively. The B16 and the S16. They seem to get the job done. But for PS4, you will need an official controller to authenticate it. So if you don't have a Magic Boots device, you do have to consider the cost of plugging in an official arcade stick to authenticate it, or something like that. Have you tested a Legion Go versus the Ally? I'm considering which has a better D-pad. Unfortunately, who makes the Legion? Lenovo? They haven't sent one to me, so I have no idea what the performance is like on the D-pad. But if you guys badger them on social media and say NihongoGamer will review the Legion Go, please send him one. I'm happy to review it. But otherwise, I don't really have any specific need for it. I thought you were playing Diddy Kong Racing. What, you actually thought that, or you saw the title and you were hoping that I was playing that? This sort of jungle stuff. I don't know if this was popular in America, but in the UK, beats with just like jungle stuff. That's not really jungle, but you know what I mean. Like, it's not drum and bass, but I don't know what you call this drum beat. This was really popular at the time. 1999. When was the last time you got sent a game code for purpose of review? Oh man, they send me game codes all the time, but I don't really review games much anymore on this channel. I think my opinion on hardware is probably more valuable than my opinion on actual like games because there are too many genres that I like to play. So it's not like you go to NihongoGamer to watch like reviews on RPG. You don't check out a NihongoGamer to watch like reviews on the latest fighting games. Like even my opinions on fighting games, I don't really value as much as my opinion on just hardware. But they send me codes all the time for games. The question is like, would they be interesting videos? Is that what my subscriber base really wants to see? And I don't think the answer is yes most of the time. My profile picture on here is the Super GT series, Team Calsonic Impel Nissan GTR. You know, I don't know all the history of the GTR, but I'd like to watch a video about it because actually that's not true. I think I've already watched a video about the GTR. The Nissan GTR is a sick car. Are they all called Skylines, or was there only a specific one? The Skyline. Next year I'm in Japan. I hope to find some cheap arcade sticks for my Dreamcast and Saturn, because here in Germany they are expensive. Okay. Yeah, I got the original Dreamcast stick here. this one? Dust it off. I don't use it very often, but you guys remember this? You can put a VMU in here. So I think I modded this because I didn't really like the lever. It's got the same original buttons in here, but I put a Sun lever in here. I forgot, guys. Capcom vs SNK 2 is coming out next year in the Capcom collection. Unbelievable. I'll be able to play Capcom vs SNK 2 online with people and not have to get my Dreamcast out. That's just awesome. Yeah, best of luck when you're in Japan looking for the hardware that you want. Listen, it's coming up to 11 o'clock in Japan, so I'm going to probably move on and get on with my day. It's a 3-day weekend in Japan. What have you guys got planned for this weekend? It's probably not a 3-day weekend everywhere else on Earth, but in Japan it is. Power Stone Online, I think that will be fun as well. It's actually got Power Stone 1 and 2. Hope the Wazlo doesn't hit that game. Why? Justin single-handedly keeps games alive. So it's actually really important that Justin does play games. You don't want to wish for Justin to not play a game. I don't think that would be necessary in any shape or form. Hard off all the way. I don't know. It's hit and miss. Book off, maybe. Well, I suppose hard off is the same, but I'm not. You have to be careful with some of the stuff that's in Hard Off in Japan. There's a shop called Hard Off, believe it or not. Hilarious name for a company, for a shop. Hard Off. Some of it actually is junk. Some of it actually doesn't turn on. Yeah, you don't want to bump into Justin online, for sure. I think I've told this story before, but when I was at Tokyo Game Show a couple of years ago, I was playing a round of Street Fighter with some guys at the Victrix booth, and I just played so badly. And I remember saying to Justin was standing behind me the whole time. So I finished the round. I turned to Justin. I was just like, "Tell me you didn't see that." He just goes, "I did see that," or something like that. I was like, "Oh man, I was just the worst performance in a video game of all time." This music sounds like it actually came from a fighting game, doesn't it? This actually sounds like Capcom vs SNK 2, doesn't it? There are some wild DIY sticks out there. Yeah, there sure are. Including the video that I posted the other day. The most recent NihongoGamer video is a DIY gamepad. So funny. I don't know why this is. I'm going to start calling it the NihongoGamer curse. But every time I review something, people just stop selling it. Why? Why do people do that? Like, why do people send me stuff and then, like, the day that I review the product, they just stop selling it? So apparently that gamepad that I reviewed, he said he's finished making them, and he's making a version 2. So he's got like a Google form asking for people's feedback on it. Just like, the one I actually reviewed, you can't even buy it. But like, that happened with Gamer Finger buttons. I like reviewed Gamer Finger buttons and then no one could buy them. I feel like every time I review something, it just either goes out of stock or the company just stops making it. It's like, why? Screw that up. What? Where's the thing? Hey, you're live. How's the tea and the game? Yeah, we had the coffee, and now my nose is really itchy, and I'm not 100% sure if it's the tea. I don't know if it's the coffee that's making my nose itchy, or is it the fact that I just get my nose itch. My nose gets really itchy every time I play. Every time I play on stream. So I'm trying to figure out what it is. So basically, before I go, I want to just finish this one scramble. I'm gonna head off. Anything you guys want to chat about, ask now or forever hold your pieces of 8. Don't know why I said it like that. My nose is just too itchy to stream. If you want leverless thin, you won't be able to weigh those down. What are we talking about? Does drinking coffee make your nose itch offline? It doesn't. So it's obviously not the coffee. I think, because I vacuum the floor in my house, but I'm not very good about dusting like surfaces. I think maybe like just the act of streaming means that I'm in front of a monitor for a long time, and so the radiation coming off the LCD, it's not the same as a CRT obviously, but I think just the heat and everything coming off my monitors causes dust to just come up. And also, I don't talk this much usually when I'm just sitting at my desk. I think the act of talking and the air spits air all over the materials, and the dust goes up in the sky. I think me spitting facts, not spitting facts, me spitting all over the place, air coming out of my mouth is what causes it. That's my theory at the moment. Let me just finish this so that I can feel satisfied. I don't want to finish the stream without completing this scramble. What is this? Oh, sick! This is the nice one. You guys got lucky. This is the last one. 1, 2... Oh, sorry. Do it. Let's do it nicely. Yeah, so satisfying! These are called M slices. You double flick. Or you flick or you double flick with your middle and ring finger here. This is the most satisfying thing to do. If you're a fighting gamer, this particular permutation, I think I showed this previously, but you go like 1 2 U 1 2 U 2 1 2 U 1 2, and you end up with this permutation where this needs to be swapped vertically and these need to be swapped horizontally. Oh, it's so satisfying. There's nothing more satisfying than that. I don't even know what that permutation is called. Very satisfying. Bro, why aren't you playing Dragon Ball? I don't know. Not interested in it. It's an arena fighter, right? I don't know. Is it? Are people enjoying it? Power of your brain. You think your nose will itch when you stream, so your nose itches when you stream, and then death spiral. Honestly, I don't disagree. There was another thing that happens every week. I have like a dedicated day when I like try to make sure I get as many videos edited as possible. And on that day, I suddenly get my nose gets runny. So my nose doesn't get itchy, but on this one day of the week, my nose gets runny, and I end up like going through like 6 million tissues. And it's crazy because I clearly don't have a cold. I don't end up with a cold after that. It's just like water coming out of my nose. I know that's really gross to talk about, but I think that anytime my body knows that there's something I need to do, like anything I need to get done, I will just like, I don't know what the word is, but is it Munchausen syndrome? I can't remember what it is, but it's like this thing where you just create your own sickness. You like will your body to end up with symptoms of something that's actually actual illnesses. I genuinely believe I have it, whatever it is. Sketch flicks. I don't know. I don't have it. So why are you asking? Yeah, people are saying it might be Game of the Year. Game of the Year? Really? Okay, I'll watch a review. I'll watch a review, but to me, it looks like just another arena fighter where you fly around in 3D space, and then you press the home in button. The reason I'm not really a big fan of arena fighters is because it tends to be that the mechanic is that you're floating around in space, and one of the buttons brings you closer to your enemy. So whether they're in the sky or on the ground or something, you don't really have 3D movement. You just press a button and you just zoom towards your enemy, and I don't find that mechanic very interesting. Yeah, Mikey did like Dragon Ball. Ah, the Doki Doki days. Hopefully you all remember sketch flicks from Doki Doki Drawing. Nihongo's allergic to work. I am genuinely... But I think I am genuinely allergic to work. I just hate the idea. Well, it's not even just that I dislike work. It's tasks that have to be done. Once my brain knows that something has to be done, like that's when the symptoms start happening. Like headaches, or my nose gets runny, or I just feel like I'm lacking motivation. I don't know what it is about the way that I grew up, because I think I was actually a fairly studious kid. Once I know that something has to be done, it's not like it's different to something I want to do. Like even video editing, that's something I want to do. But then once I've set a day of the week, like this is the day that I have to get 4 or 5 videos edited, then my body's just like, now I don't want to do it. Whatever you do, don't watch the review by IGN. Reverse psychology. Now I really want to watch the review by IGN. I am actually going to watch it now, just because you said not to. Not because I'm trying to, like, subvert your expectations, what you said. I'm just trying to... This reverse psychology, now I just really want to. Gotta get back to editing. Good to see you streaming again. Thanks, Sketchflix! See you later. I'm actually leaving anyway. My nose is too itchy, I can't stream anymore. I get what you're saying about getting sick when you feel stressed. I just get super tired. Like, there's gotta be some research about it. Like, for people with a certain background, when we know that something has to be done, we get physically unwell. Because I know that I'm not actually unwell. Like, I only have the symptoms, but not the actual illness. It's weird. The only arena fighter I will stand by is the virtual on games. Yeah, I suppose I quite like... Do you remember we sometimes played Gundam Extreme Versus? I was kind of into that. But to an extent, even Extreme Versus, it was just a lot of... I don't know, I was just double tapping that button so I could boost jump and then kind of home in towards my enemy. I was bad at the game anyway. Anime fighting games have broken hitboxes. Why do people play them? What? What are you talking about? What's broken about the hitboxes in anime fighting games? It's an interesting comment. I'd like to hear you back it up in the comments, because I do have to head off now. Thank you everyone for hanging out. If you haven't seen the most recent video, it's for a gamepad that you can't actually buy, but the creator, I reposted his post on x.com. He said he's got a Google form asking for feedback on the controller because he's going to make a version 2. It's basically, you can kind of see it, it's that controller there. It's a gamepad with a slide pad instead of an analog stick or an arcade stick or a D-pad. So, recommend you check out that video if you're interested in that kind of controller. It's been fun. I will see you all in the next NihongoGamer video and or stream. Thanks for hanging out today and drinking coffee. And this is the best music of all time. Later, bye.